Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb and Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Additional funding for the Spark provided by Christian Brothers University and Power & Tel.
This month on The Spark, our theme is entrepreneurship. We'll learn more about an organization that's part venture development group and part accelerator. We'll explore a Memphis-based company that's changing the way medicine is prescribed in America and an organization connecting volunteers with their ideal volunteer experiences. We'll also have a special moment with one of our recent Spark Award winners. Have you ever been excited by a new idea, inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way, so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders that are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. They're part venture development group, part accelerator. I'm here with the Vice President of Diversity for StartCo, Al Pickett. And StartCo become a very well-known name, especially when it comes to entrepreneurialism here in the Mid-South. Give us a little bit of context. Give us some history for StartCo.
Well, StartCo's been in existence roughly about 8 years. And in 2011, Andre Folks and Eric Matthews decided to really focus on the business aspect of entrepreneurship because we saw that in the past 30 years, all net new job growth was coming from high growth entrepreneurial businesses. And so with that, we wanted to focus on the accelerator programs.
And when you look at, I mean, obviously rich legacy here, people like Pitt Hyde, Fred Smith, Clarence Saunders, but obviously you're focused on today's entrepreneurs and tomorrow's entrepreneurs. And so with that, you have a whole support network, and we'll talk about the funding in a second, but you've got a whole array of programs. Dive into them a little bit in terms of the different ways that entrepreneurs, people with big ideas, can take advantage of StartCo.
Well, with StartCo, we run 3 accelerator programs. The first one is Seed Hatchery, there's Upstart, and there's Sky High. And essentially, the first one focuses on business-to-business entrepreneurship. The second one is women in entrepreneurship, and the third is focusing on social enterprises. So with that, we cover the entire spectrum of the challenges that we face nationwide. Not only just from a community perspective, and then also covers your entire city.
And you're covering, so it's bringing in an idea that you might or might not have fleshed out too far. Talk about some of those different stages, because some entrepreneurs, they have an idea, they don't know where to start, they don't really have any support or mentorship or guidance, they don't really have a business experience. Others are a lot further along. So others have been kind of moving it, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, they need a different type of help. Talk about some of those different stages that you help in different ways with entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so most people do come in with just an idea, and where they get stuck is validating the idea and actually finding customers for those businesses. And that's one of the most important things that we teach them is how to do a little bit of primary research and secondary research to discover if they actually have something. And that's all in the execution and having a proven process for discovering what you actually have.
And I know that you have a physical location with StartCo where you have people from Baker Donaldson, for instance. I know where I was in there a few days ago, and you have the Baker Donaldson crew helping and just providing their time to help these entrepreneurs with legal service. But you have a very strong support network with experts in their field that help and come alongside these entrepreneurs. Talk about the mentorship and the guidance aspect of StartCo.
Yeah, mentorship is one of the most important pieces. So you have these serial entrepreneurs and seasoned executives coming from far and wide, from out of state and in state, to support these new entrepreneurs as they venture out. There are a lot of unforeseen things that happen for all the intentional things that these entrepreneurs go through and challenges they face. The mentors come in and just provide that guidance that they've seen the pitfalls and the potholes, and just kind of help them make less mistakes.
And then you have engagement opportunities like Demo Day, where it was at the Orpheum, and you have all these entrepreneurs coming up and making their pitch, and sold out theater basically of all of us watching this. Talk about some of those large scale ways that the public can see what's going on with StartCo.
Yeah, so Demo Day is by far the largest scale event, and essentially what you have, well, this past Demo Day, we had 14 teams through 2 accelerator programs to present to investors in the community at large. And what that gives them an opportunity to do is just launch their company and let the world know that they exist. Let the world know that they're ready to do business. They've got a solution for a problem, and give investors a chance to really see that, hey, I don't want to miss out on this opportunity.
And then talk about the financing, the investment, because you talk to any entrepreneur, obviously money is a big deal. Well, you've got partnerships in place, you have seed money, you have these relationships focused on the financing aspect, and you've had some big successes. Talk about the money side.
Yeah, so when they get into the accelerator program, we give them $25,000 to participate, of course for a small percentage of equity. But what that allows them to do is prove out the concept, onboard some initial customers, and just pursue the idea without the burden, the early burden of needing a lot of capital to get through. And from that point, they start to have these conversations with investors, and that's a longer process and generally takes a new team about 16 months to really raise money. And some of the successes we've seen, well, in the past, since 2011, 75% of the teams that went through the accelerators receive follow-on funding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Give us, you yourself are an entrepreneur, what puts a smile on your face when you look at the work that StartCo's doing, when you look at what you guys are doing? Tell us one success story or one thing that puts a smile on your face that says this is helping the Mid-South.
Well, really it's talent development. Once you go through an accelerator program, you are changed forever. And what that means for that entrepreneur and what that means for that entrepreneur's legacy, they're able to create something for their family. They're able to create these jobs in the community. And even if they don't pursue another company, they're an extreme, priceless asset to another organization. And that is just life-changing.
So tell everyone where they can learn more. How can they get involved with StartCo?
So you go to neverstop.co and apply to the accelerators. The accelerator starts March 1st, well, the deadline is March 1st, and we kick off in May, and then we'll wrap that up with a demo day in August.
And give us lastly one quick tip, because you yourself, like I said, you're an entrepreneur. Give us one tip for all those that have a big dream. What would you tell them?
Never stop.
Perfectly said. So make sure if you have a big idea, get involved with StartCo. Greatly appreciate everything you're doing here in the Mid-South and for coming on the show and sharing it.
Thank you.
They're changing the way medicine is prescribed in America. I'm here with the founder and CEO of YX Genomics, Bob Bean, along with Christine Essery. And let's start with YX Genomics is kind of the big picture, but underneath that you have Harmonics, Transnetics. Give us a little bit of history for YX Genomics.
Sure. Thanks very much for having us here, Jeremy. We really appreciate it. Harmonics and Transnetics are both children company of a larger company, but Transnetics started as a company that services researchers through genetic testing. We automated a process that medical research scientists were using and could use from around the world, and made that automation make it fast, efficient, and very affordable. And because we had created all of this automation and high throughput molecular genetic testing, we started looking for where would you apply that next. We looked at several markets, but finally settled on pharmacogenomics, which is the ability to apply all of this research directly into patients' lives by making it possible for them to know before they take a medicine whether or not genetically their body's even set up to process that medicine properly.
I mean, already you can see that this is very scientific, but you're making this easy to understand, which I appreciate. But so you're automating genetic testing, and especially on this side, you're able to go in ahead of time and figure out the medicine that I'm going to take, how is it going to affect my body?
Yeah, whether it's appropriate for your body. We're all different. And because we're all different, we're made different through our genomes. And your genome processes proteins that make your liver, and your liver is what processes the medicine. So by knowing what's in your liver and how you're made, you can tell based on the drug whether the compound will affect you properly or go right through you without affecting you, or in some cases can actually do some harm.
So as I alluded to, you're changing the way that medicine is prescribed in America. Obviously, that's exactly what we're talking about right here. But all this is being done right here in Memphis, in our own backyard. So why Memphis?
Well, Memphis was a great place for us to build this company because FedEx is in Memphis, and it brings the world to us overnight. 20% of our business flies across the Atlantic every night. Wow. 10% flies from Australia every night. And we can bring all the cities in America into Memphis, get everything early the next morning, get sample results out to physicians and to researchers around the world the next day. And that overnight ability to process genetically overnight and return results is made possible because we're in Memphis, Tennessee.
So one of the things that makes you very unique to me is the fact that you take it a whole new step, not only on the scientific, the entrepreneurial front, but really on the community engagement front. And so when you look at professional, personal development with your team, that's a big deal. Talk about that from your perspective, because I know that's your world with YX Genomics.
Yes, that's right, Jeremy. Our mission is enriching the lives of our employees both personally and professionally, and we're able to do that in a number of ways. We began YX Gives Back program 2 years ago, and we found that encouraging and empowering our employees both gave an opportunity for them to give back to something that they're passionate about and lead that, but also giving back during the workday enabled them to not take time away from their families. And we found that that was very important, and it's created a motivating environment.
And I think that's really important is you're saying, okay, we're going to make this a great opportunity for us as a company to give back, but we're going to make it really easy for you as employees. And so during the workday, talk about some of the things. So now you bring in speakers, you allow them to go out and volunteer. Talk about some of the things that you do specifically that really do mobilize your team.
Absolutely. We do bring in speakers on a quarterly basis. We have speakers from all over the United States. We identify them to come in and speak to our teams. We just recently had a speaker come in and shared a little bit about leadership in the community and in the work environment. We also give back in a couple of different ways. We partner with the local food bank, so we're able to go pack boxes for seniors and know that there are people in our community being helped. We also love St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Okay.
Yes, and we do that in a couple of ways as well. We sign up quarterly for blood and plasma donations. We have a great list of employees that come every single time. And we participate in the bigger fundraisers, which are the St. Jude Bike Ride once a year in September, and also the most recent St. Jude Marathon Weekend.
So you've got the physical engagement, you have the financial funding as well. Talk about from your perspective, Bob, is why this is so important. When you talk about the philanthropic side of everything you're doing, I mean, obviously you're pushing on the research side, you're pushing on the automatic side. Talk about why pushing on the community side is so important.
Because people aren't robots, right? We are people, and we need to be involved in giving. It's part of our nature to want to give. There's a great deal of joy in giving. And people who stay in an organization for a long time, like we are fortunate to have, really we want to help encourage them to be balanced in their life. We want them to be good parents, we want them to be good neighbors, we want them to be good citizens. And we have found that employees are happier when they are doing those things. And there's only so many hours in the day. So the best thing we can do for an employee is help them live a balanced life, and service is a part of a balanced life.
So when you look at already what you've been able to accomplish, I mean, you're the founder of this company, what puts a smile on your face?
Well, I love seeing people doing things that they love and that they're proud of. And that's not only just from a customer service perspective and feeling like what they're doing in the researcher's life or the patient's life is making a difference, but also tutoring a child and learning how to read at one of the elementary schools that we partner with can also be just as empowering and just as uplifting for an employee. And a happy employee is a good employee.
Well, I greatly appreciate you coming on the show and sharing not only all the boundaries you're pushing on the scientific front and the business front, but more importantly, to make a difference here in our own backyard. So thank you for coming on the show and sharing. I appreciate it. The Spark Awards annually recognize and celebrate individuals and organizations that have made outstanding contributions to the community. Memphis-based Monogram Foods was one of the honorees in our most recent corporate category. Founder and local entrepreneur Carl Sledwich talks about Monogram's mission of service to the community.
Monogram Food Solutions started in 2004, so we're about 11 years old here in Memphis. My partner Wes Jackson and I started with 8 employees then, and fast forward to today, we have a little over 2,500 with 6 manufacturing plants around the country, and the support center, our headquarters, is here in Memphis.
One of the things that you're very well known for is the focus on kids, and you have a foundation, Monogram Loves Kids Foundation.
Correct.
Give us an idea of the foundation.
Sure. One of the behaviors that we value as we started this company is trying to create a culture that would help us grow, and one of the behaviors that we highlight is trying to give back to the communities where our team members live and work. So we're not so big that we can be a solution to everybody's needs, so we decided to focus on children. And so Monogram Loves Kids Foundation was started a little less than 5 years ago, and we give grants to children's charities in the areas where we have operations.
And one of the big events that you put on is called Meet Me in Memphis, and it's not
Right.
M-E-E-T, it's M-E-A-T.
Correct. This will
Cleverly.
be our 4th year, and that is our big fundraiser where we solicit sponsorships from people that do business with us and have a live and silent auction, and we have 8 local chefs, and it's always held usually the 3rd Thursday in October of each year in downtown Memphis, and we raise over $200,000 a year.
And another one is, you alluded to it, but over 10 years, as a part of your 10-year anniversary, you launched a program, a give-back program called Impact 10. Describe Impact 10.
Yes, it was something that lasted for 10 weeks. We challenged people in the community to nominate their favorite charity, and to nominate the charity, they didn't have to do anything other than commit to do an act of kindness. And over 3,000 people submitted an act of kindness that they would do, and in return nominated their charity. And each week for 10 weeks, we chose a charity that we gave $10,000 to initially, and then an anonymous donor gave us another $50,000, so each of the charities got $15,000.
You yourself, heavily involved in the community, serving on
Right.
boards, volunteering, giving of your time and resources, aligning your expertise. Your team, same thing. Talk about why it's so important to be involved in the community.
People want to work for companies that give back. People enjoy giving back, and it creates a camaraderie, it creates a self-worth as a company. So there's a lot of gifts that are given to us by being part of a giving corporation.
They match volunteers with their ideal volunteer opportunities, and they help them tell their stories. I'm here with the CEO and founder of Volunteer Odyssey, Dr. Sarah Petchnik. You yourself have a personal storyline, obviously, as the founder, but it's a pretty crazy story of going out there and volunteering yourself. So share the story of starting Volunteer Odyssey.
Yeah, it really came out of the idea that I wanted to know what it was like to volunteer all over Memphis and inspire people to start. So I volunteered for 30 days in a row at 30 different nonprofits, and I blogged about it every day, and it was an incredible experience. And that was when I started to realize how much room we had to improve.
Talk about some of the stats, because obviously this is your world now, volunteerism, and there are some pretty amazing stats when you look at where we are, but obviously where we can go in the future.
Exactly. So Memphis is traditionally known as one of the most giving cities financially, but those numbers don't hold up when we look at volunteer hours. If you look at average volunteer hour per resident, we're really lagging behind. And even Nashville is donating to the tune of $10 million more in terms of volunteer hours than we are. So we have a long way to go.
And so, obviously, one of the trends, we're all facing time poverty, we're so busy. How on your end, because I mean, this is what you do, you make volunteerism extremely easy for individuals, for companies,
Right.
but you also show, especially for job seekers, there's a massive ROI. Talk about the importance of volunteerism for our city.
Right. So our nonprofits are doing amazing things. They're tackling things like crime, literacy, education, poverty, and they all need volunteers. And the thing is that if they don't have enough volunteers, they're not able to effectively meet that mission. And so it really is mission critical that we are able to get enough volunteers into these organizations so that they can accomplish what they set out to do.
We talk about it all the time is money is a great resource, but people physically solve problems. So it's extremely important for us to be a volunteer, to roll up our sleeves, to make a difference, and that's exactly what you do. So talk about the programs when it comes to Volunteer Odyssey and the programs and helping these companies, individuals. Explain that.
Right. Well, we want people to look at volunteering as something that they're excited about and that they look forward to. So we're really working on matching you with an ideal opportunity that you look forward to. So for our corporate teams, we match them with something that works for their team, with their skill set and their schedule. We also help job seekers find places they can volunteer while they're off and looking for work. But we know that people, they tend to look for volunteer opportunities in one of two ways. They either say, I'm available at this time, show me what I can do, right, or I want to connect with a cause and show me how I can find a nonprofit that I'm really going to love, and we try and address both of those things.
And so you also have things like the Mix Odyssey, is that right? And a Volio. Explain what those mean.
Right. So Volio is our virtual volunteer fair. It's actually the first one in the entire country. There's nothing else like it. And it came out of going to these different volunteer fairs and thinking there's got to be a way that we can recruit people 24/7, 365 days a year. So Volio is our online volunteer platform. It's beautiful. It's made by Archer Malmo. We have award-winning videos on there that take you straight to that nonprofit, so you can meet the volunteer coordinator and actually hear from the people you'd be helping, so you know if it's a good fit before you even set foot in the door.
The power of technology,
the
focused
power
on
of
volunteerism.
Technology.
And so explain Mix Odyssey.
Mix Odyssey. It's our annual fundraiser. It's a mixology contest. So we have 7 different mixologists all vying for crowd favorite. And while you're there, we use fortune tellers who predict where you'll volunteer in the future based on what you like and what you're good at.
And the storytelling aspect to me is a big part of this as well. So you're not only engaging them, you're sharing the ideal experience, you're getting them involved, they're rolling up their sleeves, but you're helping them tell their stories. And especially for companies, that's huge, because many times you go and you volunteer and you're going through it, but you don't necessarily have somebody to archive it, to get video, to get the blogs, to get the storylines. Talk about why that storyline is so important to be able to share it with others and inspire others.
So most people don't talk about volunteering because they feel like it comes across as bragging. And so if we're not talking about it, how is it ever going to become something where we're making big progress? So we use a couple different ways to get those stories out there. So with our corporate teams that you were talking about, we create a video of that experience, which is great because then the nonprofit can share it and that corporation can share it with their employees, their customers, and everybody else to show how they're making an impact in the community.
And the last piece of this, 2016, the year of volunteering, right?
The year to volunteer, that's right.
So explain what that means for you.
So for us, we are really trying to cast a wide net and to find everybody who wants to volunteer and have them take that first step. Most people say they're willing to volunteer, they just don't know where to start and they've never been asked. So this is really a push to say, hey, we need your help. Will you come and make an impact in the city? And that's our big push for 2016.
And so they can go online, they can sign up, they can take a pledge basically and say,
exactly.
Hey, I want to do this. And then that's where you can step in and help take the next step.
Right, and our message is that whatever you already love to do, we can help you find a way to do that through volunteering so that it's something that you look forward to so that you'll continue to go back, and that's how we start to make a big difference.
So tell them the website, tell them where to go.
Come to volunteerodyssey.com to get started, or if you want to visit our virtual volunteer fair, that's voliovolunteers.com.
Perfect. Well, definitely 2016, you heard it right there, the year to volunteer, so make sure to get involved. Volunteer Odyssey, absolutely love everything you're doing here in our community. Thanks for coming on the show and sharing it.
Yes, thank you very much.
Memphis has a rich legacy when it comes to entrepreneurialism. Sam Phillips founded Sun Studios and recorded artists like B.B. King and Elvis Presley. Clarence Saunders founded Piggly Wiggly, the first supermarket chain. Fred Smith founded FedEx, the first overnight delivery service. Pitt Hyde founded AutoZone, which has revolutionized the automotive aftermarket industry. And the list goes on and on. As we saw today, our city is still pushing the boundaries of what's possible and bringing the resources and support necessary for entrepreneurs to thrive, thanks to the efforts of organizations like StartCo. Memphis-based companies like YX Genomics are becoming world leaders in industries like automated genotyping and changing the way medicine is prescribed in America. and organizations like Volunteer Odyssey are taking an entrepreneurial approach to engaging citizens and companies to become forces for good, to make a difference. Thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests and to share your stories of others leading by example, you can find us at WKNO.org. Just click on the Spark link. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll join with us in creating a spark for the Mid-South.
Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.